First contact gone wrong. The crystalline spires of the Nexari diplomatic vessel cast prismatic shadows across the Geneva Peace Hall. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the center of Earth's delegation, her ceremonial uniform carrying the weight of humanity's first official contact with an advanced alien civilization. The Nexari representatives, tall beings with iridescent scales and multifaceted eyes, towered over the human delegation. High Commander Zyrix, leader of the Nexari delegation, moved with liquid grace as he approached the central podium. His translator matrix hummed to life, converting his harmonics into crisp English. "We have observed your species for some time," he began, his tone carrying an unsettling note of condescension. "Your rapid technological advancement is concerning." Sarah maintained her diplomatic smile, though her fingers tightened imperceptibly around her datavat. She'd spent months preparing for this moment, studying the limited information they had about the Nexari Confederation. Something felt off about their approach, but she couldn't quite place it. "The Confederation offers you a unique opportunity," Zyrix continued, his secondary eyes scanning the room while his primary set remained fixed on Sarah. "Submit to our guidance, and we will ensure your species develops along acceptable parameters." The room temperature seemed to drop several degrees. Sarah's military training from before her diplomatic career kicked in, recognizing the careful positioning of the Nexari guards around the chamber's periphery. This wasn't a diplomatic meeting, it was an ultimatum. "With respect, High Commander," Sarah responded, her voice steady and clear. "Humanity has its own path. We welcome peaceful cooperation between our species, but submission isn't on the table." Zyrix's scales shifted color slightly, a ripple of deep purple that their cultural briefings had identified as amusement or contempt. "Perhaps I wasn't clear, Ambassador Chen. This isn't a negotiation. Your species has developed faster than any we've encountered in the last 1,000 cycles. Left unchecked, you present an unacceptable risk to galactic stability." Sarah felt a subtle vibration through her boots, a signal from General Martinez in the Security Command Center below. Their worst-case scenarios were activating. She needed to buy time. "You seem to have made some assumptions about humanity, High Commander," Sarah replied, taking a measured step forward. "We're not some experiment to be contained. We're a sovereign species with our own destiny." Amusing, Zyrix's harmonics carried a dangerous edge now. "Your species still thinks in such primitive terms. Sovereignty, destiny. These are concepts for developed civilizations. You are children playing with forces you barely understand." Sarah allowed herself a small smile, one that didn't reach her eyes. "That's where you're wrong, Commander. We understand exactly what forces we're playing with, including the ones you don't know about yet." The statement caught Zyrix off guard, causing a momentary flicker in his scale coloration. Sarah continued before he could respond. "Our history is filled with would-be conquerors who thought they could subjugate humanity. None of them are around anymore to talk about how that went." Zyrix's guards shifted positions, their weapon analogs humming to life. "You dare threaten the Confederation?" Zyrix's translator barely kept up with his rapid harmonics. "Your entire orbital defense network consists of primitive kinetic weapons and chemical rockets. We could eliminate it within hours. Could you?" Sarah's smile widened slightly. "Are you certain about that? About any of your intelligence on Earth's capabilities? Because we've been certain you were coming for quite some time, and humanity has a long history of preparing surprises for uninvited guests." The first explosion rocked the diplomatic vessel in high orbit, right on schedule. Zyrix's secondary eyes widened as urgent communications flooded his neural link. Sarah watched calmly as the realization dawned in his multifaceted eyes. The humans had known. They had known, and they had prepared. "This meeting is concluded," Zyrix snarled, his scales now pulsing with angry crimson patterns. "You have sealed your species' fate." As the Nexari delegation hastily retreated to their transport chambers, Sarah opened a secure channel on her neural implant. "Control, this is Ambassador Chen. Operation Looking Glass is a go. They took the bait exactly as predicted. The real war was about to begin, and the Nexari were about to learn why humanity had survived every extinction-level event thrown at them. They had just declared war on the wrong species, and Earth was far from defenseless. In orbit, hidden quantum satellites activated, revealing a defense network far beyond anything the Nexari had detected. In deep space, stealth ships that had been shadowing the Nexari fleet for months prepared to strike. And in laboratories across Earth, technologies that humanity had kept secret were about to show the galaxy why underestimating humans was always a fatal mistake. The silent strike. Admiral Helena Reyes stood on the bridge of the ESS Nightwing, her expression unreadable as she watched the massive Nexari warfleet emerge from hyperspace. Their ships looked like abstract art pieces, all crystalline angles and bioluminescent surfaces. Beautiful, but deadly. The fleet's formation suggested they expected minimal resistance, spreading out to begin their standard orbital bombardment pattern. "They still haven't detected us," Lieutenant Commander Jackson reported from his tactical station, his holographic displays showing the Nightwing and her sister ships perfectly masked by their quantum camouflage fields. All stealth systems functioning at optimal levels. Helena allowed herself a tight smile. The Nexari's arrogance was working in humanity's favor. They'd never bothered to look for technology beyond their understanding, assuming Earth was centuries behind them. They hadn't noticed the quantum entanglement networks, the dark matter sensors, or the artificial gravity wells humanity had quietly constructed throughout the solar system. "Signal the fleet," Helena ordered, her voice calm but charged with purpose. "Initiate Operation Shadowfall." Across the solar system, hundreds of stealth ships simultaneously dropped their camouflage. The Nexari fleet found themselves surrounded on all sides by vessels that seemed to materialize from empty space. But it wasn't just the ships that appeared. Massive structures emerged from hiding, revealing Earth's true defensive capabilities. On the Nexari command ship, High Commander Xerix received the impossible sensor data with growing horror. His neural link couldn't process the sheer number of human vessels appearing around his fleet. More disturbing were the energy signatures, technologies that shouldn't exist according to their understanding of human capabilities. "Impossible," he hissed, his scales shifting to a pale yellow of shock. "Their energy readings. These can't be human ships." But they were. The first wave of human attacks proved it, as quantum-locked torpedoes passed straight through Nexari shields, as if they didn't exist. The carefully coordinated strikes targeted propulsion systems and weapons arrays with surgical precision, demonstrating an understanding of Nexari ship design that shocked their commanders. "Multiple Nexari vessels disabled," Jackson reported, his fingers dancing across his tactical display. "Their shield configurations are useless against our phase-shifted weapons. They're trying to adapt, but—" A massive explosion lit up space as a Nexari dreadnought attempted to engage its emergency faster than light drive. The artificial gravity well generators hidden throughout the system activated, creating localized distortions that turned any attempt at FTL travel into suicide. "Send the message," Helena commanded, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's response to the Nexari ultimatum. The communication burst hit every Nexari ship simultaneously, broadcasting on all frequencies. Ambassador Chen's voice, calm and clear. "This is Earth's response to your demands for submission. We gave you the chance to choose peace. You chose war instead. Now you'll understand why that was a mistake." The second phase of Operation Shadowfall began. From Earth's surface, massive railguns that had been disguised as civilian structures revealed themselves, launching specialized projectiles at relativistic speeds. Each round carried a payload of self-replicating nanites, designed specifically to target and disable Nexari biocrystal technology. Xerix watched in mounting desperation as his fleet's capabilities deteriorated. Ships began losing power as the nanites spread through their systems. Communication networks fell silent. Weapon systems went dark. The mighty Nexari armada was being systematically dismantled by an enemy they had grievously underestimated. Your species' development was never uncontrolled. Helena's voice now joined the broadcast. It was precisely controlled. By us. Everything we showed you was carefully calculated to make you underestimate us. Every piece of intelligence you gathered was exactly what we wanted you to see. The Nexari's attempts to counterattack proved futile. Their weapons, designed to overwhelm conventional shields, were hardly effective against the quantum phase barriers protecting Earth's ships. Their tactics, successful against countless other species, failed against an enemy that had studied them for years while presenting a carefully crafted facade of technological inferiority. Signal from the Nexari command ship, Jackson announced. They're requesting terms for surrender. Helena exchanged a look with her bridge crew. This was just the beginning. The first phase of a longer strategy. The Nexari weren't the only species that had underestimated humanity, and this demonstration would send a powerful message across the galaxy. Inform them that Ambassador Chen will present our terms, Helena replied. And remind them, this was just a fraction of Earth's true capabilities. The next species that mistakes our peaceful intentions for weakness will face an even stronger response. As the battle concluded, the stars seemed to witness a shifting of power in the galaxy. Humanity had revealed itself not as a primitive species to be conquered, but as a force that had carefully hidden its true nature until the right moment. The age of underestimating Earth was over. Operation Prometheus. Dr. Maya Patel stood in the control center of the Prometheus facility, buried deep beneath the Himalayan mountains. The quantum displays surrounding her showed real-time data from the battle in space, but her attention was focused on something far more significant. Behind reinforced neutron glass walls, a miniature sun pulsed with controlled fury, humanity's first successful containment of a stellar core. Final checks complete, her assistant, Dr. James Chen, reported. The stellar matrix is stable. All containment fields are at maximum efficiency. Maya nodded, her fingers moving across holographic controls with practiced precision. Begin upload to the orbital network. It's time to show the Nexari why challenging humanity was their greatest miscalculation. The facility hummed with power as the quantum network activated, transmitting the carefully guarded technology to Earth's defensive fleet. Each ship carried a receiving matrix, designed years ago in preparation for this moment. What the Nexari had dismissed as primitive power cores were actually sophisticated quantum receivers, waiting to be activated. In orbit, Admiral Helena Reyes watched as her fleet's power signatures began to change. The stellar core technology integrated seamlessly with their systems, just as the simulations had predicted. The Nexari sensors must be going crazy trying to understand what they were witnessing. Power levels at 400% of previous capacity and rising, her engineering chief reported, barely containing his excitement. The stellar matrices are performing beyond expectations. The Nexari response was immediate. Their remaining functional ships began emergency maneuvers, desperately trying to regroup. Their sensors detected energy readings that shouldn't be possible according to their understanding of physics. High Commander Zirix, now aboard his crippled flagship, received the sensor data with growing dread. How? He demanded of his science officer. How are they containing stellar matter in ships that size? The answer came in the form of a transmission from Earth. Dr. Maya Patel's image appeared on their screens, her expression one of professional satisfaction. High Commander, allow me to introduce you to Project Prometheus. While you were watching our space program, thinking we were struggling with basic rocket technology, we were actually mastering stellar engineering. To demonstrate, Maya sent a command through her quantum interface. One of Earth's smaller vessels, no larger than a destroyer, activated its new power core. The energy release was controlled but spectacular, temporarily outshining every other light source in near-Earth orbit. You see, Maya continued, humanity learned long ago that the best way to advance was to do so quietly. Every time we faced extinction, whether from natural disasters, our own mistakes, or external threats, we adapted, we evolved, not just biologically, but technologically. The demonstration continued as more ships activated their stellar cores. The combined energy output was approaching that of a small star, yet remained perfectly controlled. The Nexari sensors were recording everything, and Maya knew their scientists would be both terrified and fascinated by what they were witnessing. "Your species' fundamental mistake," she explained, her voice carrying the weight of scientific authority, was assuming that technological advancement follows a linear path, that civilizations must develop certain technologies in a specific order. Humanity proved that wrong centuries ago. In the Prometheus facility, Maya gestured to a secondary display showing historical data. "We didn't develop spaceflight and then work our way up to energy manipulation. We didn't master faster than light travel before learning to harness stellar power. We developed what we needed, when we needed it, often in ways that other species deemed impossible." The Nexari ship's attempts to scan the human vessels were met with confusion. The technology they were witnessing seemed to defy their understanding of physical laws. Their weapons, already proven ineffective against Earth's quantum defenses, now seemed primitive in comparison to the energy levels humanity was casually manipulating. "Consider this a lesson in humility," Maya concluded. "Your confederation has existed for thousands of years, yet you stopped innovating. You became comfortable with your understanding of the universe. Humanity never makes that mistake. We never stop questioning, never stop pushing boundaries." As if to emphasize her point, several Earth ships began demonstrating new capabilities. Their stellar cores powered technologies that the Nexari had dismissed as theoretical: gravity manipulation on a massive scale, controlled quantum tunneling, and energy-to-matter conversion that happened in real time. Admiral Rice watched the demonstration with satisfaction. The Nexari fleet, already crippled by Operation Shadowfall, now hung motionless in space, their remaining weapons powered down. The message was clear. They weren't just defeated. They were obsolete. "Dr. Patel," Rice called over the quantum link, "initiate final phase of Operation Prometheus. Let's show them what happens when humanity stops holding back." The stellar cores pulsed in unison, their energy channeled through the quantum network. What followed would reshape the galaxy's understanding of what humanity was truly capable of. The age of hiding their true capabilities was over, and the universe would never be the same. The enemy within. First speaker, Clara stood before the Nexari High Council, her scales shifting between deep blue uncertainty and the amber of resolve. The chamber's biocrystal architecture, normally soothing in its harmonic resonance, felt suffocating today. The evidence she was about to present would shatter thousands of years of Nexari superiority. "Esteemed Council," she began, her translator working to keep her harmonics steady, "I bring grave news. Our intelligence about the humans was not merely incomplete, it was deliberately manipulated. By our own leadership." The chamber erupted in a cascade of color as dozens of council members' scales flickered through emotional patterns. High Commander Zurix, attending via quantum projection from his refugee vessel, remained ominously still. "Our defeat was not due to human deception alone," Clara continued, activating a holographic display. "These are the original survey reports from our first observations of Earth. Compare them to what the High Command presented as justification for our ultimatum." The differences were stark. Where the High Command had shown primitive rocket technology, the original reports contained notes about unusual energy signatures. Where they had dismissed human quantum research as theoretical, there had been warnings about advanced practical applications. "We were led into this conflict." Clara's harmonics carried the weight of betrayal, not because humanity threatened galactic stability, but because certain factions within our leadership feared what they represented: a younger species that had found different paths to advancement. From his projection, Zurix finally moved. "You dare question the wisdom of the High Command, while our fleet lies in ruins and our position in the galaxy weakens by the moment." "I question the lies that brought us here," Clara responded, her scales now pulsing with determined red. "The humans didn't hide their true nature from us. We hid it from ourselves. And now thousands of our people have paid the price." In the shadows of the chamber, second speaker Van watched with growing concern. His covered quantum link to Earth was active, transmitting everything to Ambassador Chen. The humans had been right. The Nexeri Confederation was fracturing from within. The humans have offered terms, Clara announced, causing another wave of color changes through the chamber. Not just for peace, but for cooperation. They're willing to share their advances, to help us understand the paths of development we never considered. Treason. Xyrix's projection flared. You would have us kneel before these upstarts. I would have us survive. Clara's response echoed through the chamber. Our civilization has stagnated, bound by traditions and assumptions that the humans have proven false. They've mastered stellar engineering while we dismissed it as impossible. They've achieved quantum manipulation that our scientists claimed would take millennia. The chamber's biocrystals resonated with the intensity of the debate. More council members were showing colors of consideration, of uncertainty. The rigid hierarchy that had guided Nexeri society for thousands of years was beginning to crack. Ven stepped forward, finally ready to play his part. First speaker Clara speaks truth that can no longer be denied. I have had direct contact with the humans, sanctioned by members of this council, who saw the coming conflict and sought alternatives. The revelation sent shockwaves through the chamber. Ven continued, his scales showing calm purpose. They do not seek our submission or destruction. They offer partnership, but only if we can move past our assumptions of superiority. The Confederation cannot survive this humiliation. Xyrix snarled, his projection distorting with rage. Better to fight to the last ship than surrender our principles. Our principles. Clara's laugh was a harsh harmonic. You mean your power, your position. The humans have shown us that true strength lies in adaptation, in questioning our assumptions. Look, she activated another holographic display, showing real-time footage of Earth's fleet. The stellar cores pulsed with controlled power, demonstrating technological mastery that the Nexeri had thought impossible. More impressively, the humans were already helping those Nexeri ships that had surrendered, sharing enough knowledge to prevent catastrophic system failures. They could have destroyed us, Ven added quietly. Instead, they disabled our weapons, protected our crew, and now offer to teach us. This is not the behavior of a species that needs to be controlled. This is the wisdom we claim to possess. The council chamber erupted into debate, scales flickering through complex patterns of emotion. But the momentum had shifted. More and more council members were showing colors of acceptance, of change. In her secure chamber on Earth, Ambassador Chen watched the proceedings with careful optimism. They're fracturing exactly as we predicted, she communicated to Admiral Reyes. Prepare for Phase 2, integration and cooperation with the Reform faction. The galaxy was about to witness something unprecedented, not just the humbling of a superior civilization, but its transformation through internal revolution. The humans had not just defeated the Nexeri. They had catalyzed their evolution. Evolution's edge. The combined Earth-Nexeri fleet hung in high orbit around Saturn, their ship's stellar cores creating an artificial constellation against the gas giant's rings. On the bridge of the ESS Nightwing, Admiral Helena Reyes stood with first speaker Clara, watching as High Commander Xyrix's loyalist forces emerged from faster-than-light travel. They gathered every remaining ship, Clara observed, her scales shifting through patterns of concern. Xyrix means to make this his final stand. Helena nodded, studying the tactical displays. The loyalist fleet was impressive, nearly 300 vessels that had been beyond the reach of Operation Prometheus. But they were running on conventional power, their weapon systems unchanged. They were relics fighting the future. All ships, Battle Formation Delta. Helena commanded. Remember, minimal casualties. They're about to learn the hardest lesson of all. The human-led fleet moved with perfect coordination, their stellar-powered systems allowing maneuvers that defied conventional physics. The quantum network linked every vessel, human and reformed Nexeri alike, creating a synchronized dance of technology and strategy. Xerx's voice boomed across all frequencies, his harmonics raw with desperate rage. "Traitors and usurpers, you align with these humans, throwing away millennia of tradition and order. The Confederation will not fall to such perversion." Ambassador Chen's response came from the United Earth Command Center, her voice calm and measured. "High Commander, you still don't understand. This was never about the fall of the Confederation. It's about its evolution." On cue, Dr. Maya Patil activated the final phase of Project Prometheus. The stellar cores across the Allied fleet pulsed in perfect harmony, creating a quantum resonance that rippled through space-time itself. The effect was immediate and devastating. Every loyalist ship suddenly found their power systems linked to the quantum network, their computers flooded with data they couldn't ignore. "You wanted to see humanity's true nature." Maya's voice joined the broadcast. "Watch carefully. The quantum network wasn't just sharing power, it was sharing knowledge. Every Nexari vessel, loyal or reformed, was receiving the complete database of human scientific advancement. Not just the technology they'd revealed so far, but centuries of theoretical work, failed experiments, and successful innovations. This is how humanity truly wages war," Helena explained, watching as the loyalist ship's crews struggled to process what they were seeing. Not with destruction, but with understanding. Not with conquest, but with enlightenment. Clara's scales shifted to a deep purple of amazement as she witnessed her people's reactions. The loyalist fleet hung motionless, their crews transfixed by the knowledge flooding their systems. Every assumption about human development, about the nature of technological progress itself, was being challenged. "Impossible," Xerx's voice had lost its edge of command. "These advances, they defy every principle of technological evolution we know." "Exactly," Ambassador Chen replied. "That's what we've been trying to show you. There is no single path to advancement, no fixed order of discovery. Humanity prospered because we questioned everything, tried everything, failed countless times, but never stopped pushing boundaries." The quantum network pulsed again, and new data began flowing. Not from Earth this time, but from the reformed Nexari ships. They were sharing their own innovations, technologies humans hadn't considered, approaches that merged both species' understanding of the universe. "This is what true strength looks like," Clara declared, her scales now shimmering with pride. "Not domination, but collaboration. Not control, but growth." One by one, the loyalist ships began powering down their weapons. The data transfer continued, showing them possibilities they had never imagined. Centuries of Nexari technological stagnation were being washed away by a flood of new ideas, new approaches, new ways of thinking. In the United Earth Command Center, Ambassador Chen smiled as she received confirmation of the final surrenders. "High Commander Xerx," she called, "your fleet has stood down. They've seen what we're offering. The question is, are you ready to evolve?" There was a long pause, filled only by the hum of stellar cores and quantum networks. Finally, Xerx's response came, his harmonics carrying the weight of revelation. "We thought we were the teachers," he said quietly. "We never considered that we had stopped learning." The combined fleet began moving in formation toward Earth, their stellar cores creating a light show visible across the solar system. It was more than a display of power. It was a symbol of what was possible when different species chose to share their strength rather than impose it. "The galaxy is about to change," Helena observed to Clara as they watched the fleet's progress. "Are your people ready for that?" Clara's scales shifted through a complex pattern that the translator interpreted as hope mixed with determination. "We thought we were coming to teach humanity its place in the galaxy," she replied. "Instead, you taught us that no species' place is fixed. That true advancement comes not from controlling evolution, but from embracing it." As Earth grew larger in their view screens, the quantum network hummed with the exchange of knowledge between two civilizations that had nearly destroyed each other. They had found something far more powerful than conquest. They had found evolution's edge, where conflict gives way to growth and enemies become partners in advancement. The war was over. The real revolution was just beginning.